from Munich ولا Munich?
Munich.
Munich?
Yeah, München.
Welcome everyone to episode 3 of the Nerdiest Show on the internet. We're doing a switch today. Abdullah Al-Arian is with us from Doha, Georgetown in the studio, and Nadya Sbaiti is with us from Greece. Where in Greece are you, Nadya, now?
In Pilio, in the mountains of Pilio, in the north.
Do you want to say anything about that?
It's very isolated. I'm happy to talk to human beings.
Okay, that's awesome. We will be talking with you for quite some time. We have a great show today. I will let Abdullah introduce it.
So basically, the theme for this week is books that have been published recently that tend to cover a little bit of the United States' role in the Middle East. And so we have compiled a list of about 9 to 10 books or so that we'll be talking about that look at the way that the Middle East has been covered by books that look at specifically the U.S. relationship with the region.
And we're starting with a very interesting volume titled Imperfect Strangers, Americans, Arabs, and U.S. Middle East Relations in the 1970s by Salim Yaqub. And it has a very large set, actually, of reviewers who have said lots of good things about it. The book itself is it's a pretty large volume, and I don't know, did we agree to talk about the page numbers, Nadya and Abdullah, or did we say we're not going to do that? The chapters, actually, the contents, the table of contents is pretty long. 10 chapters, starting with the politics of stalemate, the Nixon administration and the Arab-Israeli conflict. Second, stirring at the margins, Arab-American political activism, 67 to 73. From Munich ولا Munich? Munich?
For being.
To Boulder, Colorado, I'm assuming. Domestic anti-terrorism in Arab-American communities, rumors of war and war. Number 5, Scuttle Diplomacy, Henry Kissinger in the Middle East. 6, Future Shocks, Speculative Mode in American Discourse on the Arab World. 7, Fallen Cedar, the Lebanese Civil War and the United States. 8, Camp David Retreat, Jimmy Carter and Arab-Israeli Diplomacy. And 9, Abdul Enterprises. Nice. Arab petrodollars in the United States, 74 to 81. And then 10, The Center Cannot Hold, Americans, Arabs, and the wider Middle East. We're going to talk a little bit about this book. Any comments from my colleagues?
Yeah, I mean, I would just start by saying I think this is the much anticipated follow-up to Salim Yaqub's first book, of course, containing Arab nationalism, which really looks more at the U.S. and the Middle East, going back to the Eisenhower era into the 1950s. And I think this volume, of course, brings us more up to the 1970s. One of the interesting, unique things I think that you touched on in the contents is it also looks at the role of Arab Americans as well, because, of course, by this point they'd become more of a constituency within the United States, and so there's a sense that they're also actors in kind of what we tend to see from U.S. policy formation toward the region at that time.
Awesome. Nadya?
Yeah, I agree with Abdullah. I think one of the things that is really great about both of Salim's volumes, and in particular this one, is that he's approaching a period of history in U.S. Middle East or American Arab relations as a historian and not necessarily as a political scientist. And this is actually quite new. And I think this is one of the reasons that he brings in diplomatic, political, cultural, and as Abdullah mentioned, immigration history. And I think one of the great things to mention about this particular text is while the sort of diaspora of the various Arab countries, or studies of the diasporas of various Arab countries, is increasing in terms of looking at the impact that the diaspora is having on national politics within the Arab countries, it's very rare that you look at the Arab diaspora within the U.S. and its impact on policies within the U.S. towards the region. So this is a really great contribution, I think.
You want to share with us who praised it, Abdullah? Is there?
Sure.
Maybe we could.
The the blurbs on the back. The first is from Kai Bird, the author of The Good Spy. Kai Bird, the author of The Good Spy, who says Salim Yaqub has written a profoundly original narrative about the troubled relationship among Arab Americans in the Arab world in the critical decade of the 1970s. It is a stunning story of mishaps, misunderstandings, and willful foolishness. Yaqub challenges the conventional wisdom with impeccable scholarship, and his eye for the colorful anecdote is unerring. Imperfect Strangers is the perfect antidote to America's perennial ignorance about things Middle Eastern. There's also tons of praise here from David Farber, from Melanie McAllister, from Hugh Wilford, and from Thomas Bortelsman, author of the 1970s, which I guess might be the definitive text on the decade. So, so it has gotten quite a bit of praise, as we've seen. It is published by Cornell University Press, and it does come in at just over 400 pages. I know we said we weren't going to mention the page numbers, but
and it's available. It will be available to review on the URL that you'll see at the bottom. The reason we're doing this is because we like to do this. We see it on TV, but we also don't know what the URL is at this point. It could be one of 2 or 3 things that will emerge in the next couple of weeks. Okay, shall we move to the next volume?
Great.